my parents reacted. Okay, so most of you guys are saying yeah. So I'll catch up on donations and subs after the story. So basically, I was a console gamer, right? I used to just play like Final Fantasy, shit like that. I was never really like super into multiplayer games, and I used to go to this card shop called Squeeze Play, and I used to be in like cards, right? Like collecting Pokemon cards or playing like a card game. I played like a Lord of the Rings card game at one point. And one day I walked in and they had all these computers set up, and they were playing Counter-Strike. And that was the first time I'd ever seen Counter-Strike, and I thought it was the coolest looking fucking thing on the planet. They had like 5 computers. They had like 5 comps. So my first thought was, I need to get this game. I found out that it was free, so I went to download it at home on my computer. And I want you to know that my computer, one, it was dial-up. Everyone had dial-up back then, right? DSL was like a godsend. My computer had 32 megabytes of RAM. $32 megabytes of RAM. Okay, that's what my computer had. It was running off a onboard video card, the whole nine. Right? It was the worst fucking comp on the planet. So I could not download Counter-Strike on it. It just wouldn't work. But I downloaded Team Fortress Classic, but I could not play normal Team Fortress Classic. I can only play sniping only servers because nobody was like jumping with rockets in your face. You was just snipers on opposite ends of the map. So I got into sniping servers only on Team Fortress Classic, and the computer was in the living room. My parents didn't let us have the computer in the room. I think they were really, really scared of us like discovering porn. But we had to be in the living room, and we were limited to like a certain amount of time per day. So me and my brother would switch off. He'd pull up a chair, and then we'd have the computer chair, and we'd play. I'd play for like 20 minutes, and then I'd get off, and I'd get sit in that chair, and then he'd play for 20 minutes, and then I'd play for an hour, and then he'd get on, he'd play for 20 minutes, and then I'd play for an hour, and then he'd play for 20 minutes. You know what I mean? So, but we were limited to how much we could play. My parents weren't necessarily fond that we were getting in so heavy into video games, because my dad is really a real lifer. Like, he's really into sports. He wanted his kids to be into baseball and basketball. But here we are, sitting in front of this fucking computer screen, wanting to play video games all day, craving it. So how did my dad react? He went out and bought me a computer. He went out and bought us a new computer. Like a fucking badass that could run Counter-Strike. So we got to play Counter-Strike in the living room. And again, same deal. Me and my bro switching off, limited. And it was the best, man. It was the fucking best. Such a cool fucking move by my dad. Such a huge amount of respect for him. Obviously there was like limitations. Like, we had to have good grades. I had to be a B student. I had to be getting 3.0 was my minimum GPA I was allowed to have. If I dropped below 3.0, shit was gonna start getting taken away from me. So I started playing Counter-Strike real heavy. And then eventually my little brother got his own computer, and I got my own computer, and we both had our computers set up in the room back to back. We played all sorts of video games together, but he didn't really get into Counter-Strike, and I got really heavy into CS. But my parents were really supportive. It got to a point where me and my brother would sit in a room all fucking day playing computer games, and my dad and mom would fucking bring us food. They knew that we weren't coming out there for it, so they just fucking plop that shit down on our desk and be like, here's your dinner, you know what I mean? And
check this out.
My dad would want to beat the fuck out of me when I'd be loud at like 3 o'clock in the morning and shit. 3 o'clock in the morning, if I'm loud as fuck, my dad's gonna beat my ass. I had a 10:30 curfew. I could not stay up past 10:30 during a school night.
I had first at 9 in the morning. I overslept and missed it, and now I legit want to kill myself.
Alright, give me a second. And, so, I don't know, my dad and mom, I mean, they weren't necessarily fond of it. It's not like I'd walk out and tell something about my dad about Counter-Strike, and he'd be excited for me. You know, it was just kind of like, okay,
Rated M for mature.
that's great, son. You know what I mean? Like, even to this day, my dad is extremely proud of me for turning into something. But, you know, he's not. He brags about me, but it's like it's not like he's necessarily super interested in it. You know. But I like to think that, you know, my parents supporting is one of the reasons I'm able to do what I do. So, yeah. It's pretty badass. And now, yeah, like I said, my dad's real proud of me. I think everyone in the family's pretty proud of me, you know, from turning it into something. God, this map on low sense is hard. Not hard, but, like, different for me. Is stepdad and my dad getting along? It's two different sides of the family, my man. Stepdad1g is on Desiree's side of the family, homie. My dad's, you know, on my side of the family. They never met. But my dad and Stepdad1g are polar opposites, dog. Like, Stepdad1g is a goofy, you know, kind of like funny dude. My dad's a real serious guy. You know what I mean? My dad's a real serious guy.
I forgot the word exam. That's how tilted I am.
Alright, I gotta catch up on these donuts and shit. I'm sorry. I decided to get into life story mode about how I became a Counter-Striker. Sorry about that, guys. Oh, I know, dude. My brother just texted me and said, Dad bought us every gaming console, bro. Atari, Nintendo, Sega, GameCube, PS1. We always had the dope games, man. Awesome times. Dad's a boss. I agree. 100%. Dad was always fucking being a dope motherfucker, dude. Always keeping us in check, too, you know? He did it right. He did it right. I would not be the person I am today without, you know, without my dad and how he raised me. The things that he gave me, but then at the same time, the things that he was strict about, you know? Molding my personality the right way, and just... I have such a huge amount of respect for my father. Such a huge amount of respect. He just did it. He just did it right, man. He did it right. JC Star, Pancake, Jarvis, OP.